Hey, everybody. I don't know where these people are at.
Oh, my goodness. Who the heck is this Yahoo?
Hey, man. Y'all paid me my money. Let's do this.
Yahoo?
Shoot.
Who let this guy in here? Are we live?
Yeah, we live. I think we live, right?
We live? I don't know.
You running this show?
Who's running this show?
I think you running this show.
I don't know nothing.
I ain't here to run no show. I don't get paid for that.
Oh, who's paying you?
Salary.
We got a budget to pay somebody?
I'm just watching the chat.
Who started this?
What's up, Johnny? What's up, Dustin? How you doing, man? How are things over there in Louisiana? You still making money? Anyway. All right, let's rock this show, man. You got me for see if I can make the whole hour. We can keep this consistent.
Man, I tell you what, we got regular celebrity on the show here tonight.
Yeah, well,
he's all dressed up. He must know something. He's got an NCI hat on. They don't give that out to just nobody. They won't even give that to me.
I like to wear the attire of those who I support and teach. Whatever you want to call it. These are my people, man. They're good people over there.
Yeah, they're good people over there.
They are. Oh, looks like your other guest is coming in.
Oh, we got a new guest tonight?
Hey,
it's Mike. What's up, Mike?
What's going on, kids?
Look who let run the show tonight. What's up with this?
What's up, Mike?
You
still handling up after our tech support call or what?
You called Johnny Super Tech for tech support?
Johnny's here. What the hell's going on?
I don't know, man. Apparently, we got a budget to pay Johnny for
Orlando.
Yeah, man, it's been nuts running calls left and right out here getting mine. I don't know about y'all. Y'all getting y'all's? Y'all taking them tips or what?
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to get mine.
Well,
I think you're taking up on all my calls, though.
Look, I'm here to shed some light on the situations, man. I'm about to lay it down. Everybody paid to see some action. You guys paid good money, and I'm going to bring it tonight.
All right.
I got some tech tips. We're going to shed some light on some things, right? And then we'll talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. I mean, it could come afterwards if need be. Let's get to the important stuff.
Yeah, I mean, whatever I got is, we'll put it on the back burner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, I'm getting bored. Let's move on. So I just got to go out and say this. If anyone out there is going to the HVAC Excellence show and would like to do an in-person meetup, just let me know. I will be there. We will have a press conference. So, I appreciate that. Yep, we're going to be at HVAC Excellence press conference. Going to be some tech tips being handed out.
Dang, Johnny Super Tech going big time.
Yeah, they decided to shed some money. I told them, look, I got calls to run. I can make money. I can make money right here where I'm at. I don't need to come to your show to make money, but they offered good money. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do one for the home team. I'm going to start taking care of some of these other people, right? Because I ain't been cloned yet, or else we wouldn't have a shortage problem. So, but anyway.
They paid straight up cash.
Yeah, I only take cash. That's the only way to go. You ain't taking cash.
Cash on the barrelhead.
So look, I don't want this all to be one-sided, guys. So I could kind of
Zillow.
I could use some advice because I don't want this all to be the Johnny Super Tech show.
Right.
So
I'm just going to go ahead and mute myself right now.
I thought about what I could ask you guys that could potentially help me go into this conference, give them the best advice I could. And there's some things I just haven't heard before. And maybe you guys, I'm thinking you guys probably dealt with this before, and you maybe can help me out.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm thinking. What's a callback?
Never heard of it.
That's where somebody calls out something really old. You know, like says a Darth Vader line from a movie
Well,
from like the 1970s.
Some guys in the group were saying when you do a job and then the job's not completed, it's still broken. And you got to come back. That's a word on the street.
That interesting. So do you get paid to go back? Because I haven't experienced this yet in my life, and I'm just trying to understand it, and I want to try to give the best advice I can. And
yeah, that's a freebie.
What callback means. A freebie. Well, oh man, we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Freebie ain't in my vocabulary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you can guide us through this, please. So what happens is you go on a job and you fix something, and the fix don't work, and they call you back, and it's just still hot.
Hold up. We got to back up right there. There's the problem. You said the fix don't work. What does that mean?
That's it, man.
What do you mean the fix don't work?
I was trying to tell guys in the group you got to fix it right the first time.
That's exactly right.
See, the companies I work for, the mantra is we do it right because we do it twice, maybe sometimes 3 times.
Look, this kind of sounds like a good time for a super tech tip. Just gonna throw it out there. I just want to let you guys know this one's going out to the chat. This is kind of freebie. Gonna throw it out there. Every time you turn that drum upside down, you need to bill at least 2 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Because boss man, he don't like to bill. He don't like writing off that extra refrigerant you can't get out of the bottom of that drum. I'm just saying.
Well, that's going out to the guys that actually have a scale, right?
That's right. That's right.
You're not supposed to charge that with the drum upright? I thought you had to put the drum upright to get the gas out of it. Otherwise, you slug it with liquid.
I'm sorry. What were you saying, Eric? I was.
What
you were talking about something important.
I'm sorry. No, nothing. Ignore me over here.
So, the second one I was going to ask you guys is CRM software. Can somebody in the chat? What is a CRM software? I mean, I don't know how to advise if I don't know what it is.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
CRM.
Somebody put in the chat. There's a slug in the contactor.
Slug. Oh, it could be a slug in the contactor. That would screw up a contactor really bad.
Yeah.
Slug in the contactor.
I think that's like ants in the contactor, like red ants. Yep. He was saying slug what?
Man, let me see. One more. All right, one more question I got for you guys. See if y'all can answer this one for me. What is moonlighting?
Moonlighting?
Moonlighting.
I think that's where you're walking down the beach with your girl in the moonlight. Or your guy, if you'd like to do that, that's fine.
A bottle of Merlot and a little bit of Chinese food goes a long way.
Oh,
when you're dating.
Oh yeah.
They don't call this the Treasure Coast for nothing.
Word on the street is people work for cash and they call it moonlighting. What I don't understand here is
you only work for cash?
All my jobs are in cash. So
right. You do it during the day.
It makes sense.
It's daylighting.
I mean, everything's in cash.
I like that, Jason. That's good. Crusty retired mofo. That's what CRM stands for.
I got a retirement community by me, so that's a lot of people.
I hope to be a crusty retired mofo someday. I aspire to that.
We're gonna get Johnny's gonna get you there. We paid a lot of money to get him on tonight. All
That's what I heard. I didn't even realize we had a budget.
Johnny's gonna bring you up. We're coming up.
I mean, you may not have a budget now. You know what I mean?
Moving on up.
Johnny got his first. You know what I mean?
Hey, so everybody's got
What do you guys want to talk about tonight?
Well, I
On the
don't know.
agenda?
I'm still just in flabbergast mode here because Johnny's on my screen.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with that.
I don't even know where to start, man. I want to know.
Man,
I don't even know how we got you at the Animal House.
look, y'all just gonna have
You
to,
popped up out of nowhere. I
Okay.
mean, we could start there, or we could start on how you could help us bring up our businesses.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, whatever is good for you, Johnny.
I feel like I got to go get some shades to be cool here tonight or something.
Oh shit! Let me get my Santa Fe's on.
Oh man! Oh yeah! Look at you! Wow!
Santa
That
Fe.
starts.
Don't get me angry.
Well, I tell you, speaking of money, someone said, help me make that paper. And all I can tell you on that is the only thing more important than your bank account is my bank account. You know what I mean? So we're going to work on mine tonight. We'll work on yours tomorrow. So
Johnny told me a while back. He goes, focus on condenser changeouts only.
yeah,
Get
man,
in, get out.
that's good money. Good
There
cash
you go.
money. No permit, in and out. Get it done.
No permit, in and out.
In case anybody needs me, I just want to throw that out there. It's my tech support line. I don't give out my number because I'm just too busy. That is my email in case you need me.
I'm gonna have
I'll
to
get back to you when I can.
sign him up for any mailing lists that you can think of. Sign Johnny up for all the mailing lists.
So I seen you guys wanted to
He
talk.
likes free stuff.
You guys wanted to talk brick and mortar versus the buying online. I want to hear y'all's thoughts on that.
Yeah, man.
Go for it, Mike. You got thoughts on that?
I don't have a warehouse,
Yeah,
but I tell you what, a lot of my customers are buying online.
yeah.
True Tech Tools, they're getting all their stuff on there. So
Yeah, man. Got to get your tools from True Tech Tools.
got to diversify.
And look, anytime Eric can't handle it, he just hits me up. We're going to get you taken care of. Don't even sweat it.
Johnny, don't show all the text messages that Eric's been, talking
No,
back and forth about.
I'd never do that. Look, man, I tell you what I can tell you. Hang on. Talk amongst yourselves. Give me a minute.
So what do you think, Mike? What do you think about people buying on the internet versus buying in a brick and mortar store for their supplies and their equipment?
It's funny, man. I just had a customer. He bought his equipment online. I just double priced the labor. I don't know.
Well, I mean, to me, it's I think it's going to show some pricing transparency in the industry.
Yeah.
Be right back.
Oh, great! Now Johnny left. I guess it's just us and a brick wall. Now we're literally talking to a brick wall here.
We hit a brick wall, Eric.
We did. I mean, we got nothing but a brick wall here.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, I totally agree. It shows some transparency, and it's what's funny is a lot of my older clientele, they will try to pull it on me, and I just offer and decline, man. It's like, like this last job I was at was he had a 4-ton. He decided to go with a 5-ton. And it was some weird knockoff Tropic Supply inverter system, dude. Blew my mind. I didn't even know how to install it. I had an RTFM on the manual, bro.
Yeah.
It was all Chinese. It was pull it up really quick, man. I'm sorry, I don't have it off the top of my head.
Well, I mean, I really don't think a brand matters, right? At that point, it's what the customer wants. And I look kind of to the automotive industry for this, because the automotive industry has been dealing with this for years.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I mean, how many auto parts stores are there in every town all over the place, right? They're on every corner. There's probably
You're right.
There's probably 3 or 4 major, well, maybe 5 major brands that I can think of that span, the United States.
Yeah. What is that? TGM. I never heard of it.
GM. I mean,
never heard of it.
Tropical Giga Maintenance, maybe. I don't know.
Dude, it says it's made in Miami, but made in China. 50-50. I have no idea.
Well,
but yeah, you're right.
like
Automotive has been dealing with this for a while. You're right.
And if I go to my automotive shop and, I deal with a very reliable shop. They do a good job. And they told me, I asked them about taking parts in there. And they said, if you bring in parts that you buy, they said, we're going to charge you the same rate that we charge to put on any other parts. And if there's any issues with them, you pay our time for just standing there waiting.
Yeah. Chiami. Yep.
And they're like, it's all time and material. What I see, in the HVAC industry, a lot of us have been used to making profit on selling equipment, and we have marked the equipment up because we make a profit on that.
Yeah.
And different people have different strategies on how they do that. And that's great. Oh, Johnny's on the phone now. Come on, Johnny, show us your phone number, baby.
He's got to make money, man. I mean, money on top of money.
Yeah, he's over there making money. Yeah,
I know. I know.
There's Johnny working. So, to me, I think I see a shift in the industry happening to where our labor rates are finally going to come up because of this, to where we're going to make enough money on labor to support the businesses instead of having to sell equipment, which is interesting to me because I see a lot of people complaining about companies that push equipment sales over repairing something. And I have to wonder if potentially the online sales forcing the labor rates higher so that people are profitable on labor jobs where they're not making money on equipment won't actually fix some of that mentality, because there's a lot of companies out there that do push change outs and like to sell change outs. I even talked to one company that he said he pays his installers higher than his service technicians. He said, because my installers make me more money than my service techs do, so I pay them more.
That's flipping the script, man, because
which is for most of the industry, especially in the residential market, that flips the script.
That's interesting. I like that, man. I mean,
can I intercept right here? I just got to get something off my chest.
Yes, sir.
Talking about people.
You're gonna shave your chest on TV.
Yeah. So here's what we're gonna say. I was scrolling through social media platform the other day. I don't remember which one. And I seen this video about how good it is to work with like-minded people. And it seemed like more like a recruiting video. You know what I mean? And all I'm going to say is you can recruit all you want, but teamwork is just a fancy word for having the people around you to put the blame on. You know what I mean? That's why I work by myself.
Yeah, man.
Solo artist.
But that way you work by yourself?
That's exactly right. Cash solo. That's how I roll.
So who's the fall guy then?
Ain't no fall, ain't nothing break. We just had that discussion about callbacks. You know what I'm saying? Oh.
Yeah, we had to fill Johnny in on what a callback was, because everything.
Okay. All right. So I don't know who just asked that question, because all it shows up on my screen is Facebook user, like about the installing equipment purchased online by a homeowner, who sized it. And I'm 100% in agreement with you. Now, there are some areas in the country, especially in the U.S., where the contractor is on the hook for sizing. And that becomes a big problem right there. But in areas where the contractor is not on the hook for sizing requirements legally by code, my opinion is that homeowner signs a document, and the contractor, just like they have an agreement or a terms and conditions on the That's Jason. You can't even spell his last name, apparently, I think. I don't know.
I can't either. We just call him J.O. You know what I'm saying?
J.O.
Joe. Okay. So his name's Joe. All right. Good deal.
I call him Jason Joe.
Jason O. I think that terms and conditions should be set out by that contractor on the head end, if the homeowner or whatever, because the way I look at it from a commercial standpoint, in the commercial world, we used to do a lot of jobs for chain restaurants and things like that. And, I see HVACR videos on there, Chris, and he can probably attest to this. A lot of chain restaurants or things like that in the commercial world, they buy their own equipment and then they pay a company to come out and install them. Right. I see this is the exact same thing. It works in the commercial world. Why can't it work in the residential world as well? Right.
Right.
And yes, maybe that homeowner needs to pay to have a design done.
Yeah.
Maybe they hire an HVAC company or a designer, a design firm to say, this is the size that you need. So there's a lot of things in this that, we're already doing in this realm, especially in the commercial world with that, they're buying their own equipment and they're having it spec'd by an engineer or whatever. The contractor's not on the hook unless the contractor doesn't follow the plans and doesn't follow the installation manual. Then the contractor's on the hook.
Yeah, man. I'm with you, man. It's like, hey, you want to put this in your house? You're up front. You put it on a paperwork. This is what you want. Offer and decline. And
as long as that contractor follows the minimum codes, as long as it meets minimum codes for install, as long as it checks out, with the install, they follow the install procedures in the manual,
right? Then
the contractor's not on the hook for the equipment, and all warranty goes through the manufacturer.
Yeah, breaker sizes, electric wiring sizes, and you're done, man.
You go into the commercial world, and they might put a 30 or 60 or 90-day warranty on it on the most. Most of them don't even do a 1-year warranty.
Yeah,
and when you have customers buying stuff, fine, let them buy stuff.
Yeah.
But make the terms very clear up front where the contractor's got to make a living still.
Yeah.
Okay. So set your hourly rates where you're going to make a good living. You're going to be able to support yourself and you're going to be able to support your business or your employees. And then, go about your business and set the terms up front with your customer. Set those expectations.
I actually forgot to get back with that customer, like, hey, do you know where you got that equipment? Did they register it for 10 years? I didn't even get to it.
That's not your problem.
Yeah. You know what? You're right, man. That's you.
That is not your problem. You didn't buy the equipment. You didn't make any promises. The only thing you promised was to follow the codes and the installation manual. That's it. You're out the door.
I got 500 microns on that vacuum.
Yep.
It passed the Measure Quick 30-minute pressure test.
Yeah. I mean, you did.
Sayonara. Johnny Supertech, that shit.
Hey, man, I just want to say my time's kind of running thin, and I'm about to have to go run a call, but I'm going to leave y'all with one before I get out of here. Are you ready? You guys ever heard of saying 2 wrongs don't make a right?
Mm-hmm.
That's unless it's called gas and go. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on. In the chat, you can help me out here. That 30-year-old turd, it ain't going to make it. You know what I'm saying? You can't be putting all that effort into that 30-year-old unit. Come on now.
2 wrongs might not make a right, but 3 lefts do.
That's right. All right, guys. Look, my time's run out. I'll send y'all the bill.
All right. I thought you was being paid cash. Who's paying you cash?
Hughes
is
gonna pay
paying you cash. All right. Well, you go hit Hughes up for some cash because I'm plumb out of cash right now.
Hit Hughes up.
I'm out. He's coming in.
Hughes has got all that cash.
Hughes,
Johnny's a trip, dude.
Zelle doesn't work.
What a trip.
You got to hit him up with that greenbacks. Just I was doing, it was funny. It reminds me way back in the day. I was doing a job. I was like, "You're gonna pay with cash, right?" He was like, "Yeah, absolutely." So I get done with the job, and he starts writing out this check, and I'm like, "I was like, what the hell's with the
That ain't
check,
cash.
man? That's not the same as cash, man. I mean, that's check." Johnny Supertech brings me back every time, man. He's a trip.
Yeah,
he's a trip, man.
he is, man.
It was a good time at the symposium, man.
Oh, I missed all that. I saw a few of the videos, but he didn't show up while I was stopped by the house.
You missed. It was me and Nathan Orr were doing just a little bit of karaoke, man. And,
oh my goodness! Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was.
Did Nathan leave his shirt on, or did he take his shirt off?
Nathan left his shirt on, but he had a good time, man. It was a good time. That was when Michael House was trying to walk on water like Jesus, and it didn't work.
Michael House is. I mean, I think Michael House is HVAC Jesus.
He's awesome people, man. I mean, that dude has helped me out more times than you can tell, man.
He's a smart dude.
He likes Mike likes dropping a lot of knowledge into people, man, and just not not doing it to say he did it, Hey Chris, what's up, man?
What's up, hey, did you get Johnny paid off?
Man, let me tell you what, that one hit the pocketbook kind of hard.
Boy, I tell you. Thanks for picking that up. We appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man. I was able to catch it on my way. Sounds like he dropped some bombs.
One or two.
We appreciate you bringing him in, bro.
Yeah. We got to bring in some guests every now and then, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So was you out running a call tonight? You were running late?
No, man. I ain't running no calls. I got family responsibilities, though. All these kids running around. All right, so brick and mortar. Where we at with that?
Brick and mortar, baby.
Brick and mortar versus internet.
You're sitting in front of the wall.
I want to talk about
Pink Floyd.
We should talk about what brick and mortar supply houses who sell equipment should do to protect themselves. And I think I could throw down a few things that I think would be really important. One, training. When you have in-house training, you bring trainers in, you figure out a way to make it work. That's huge, man. You got training that can be brought to you. That's a really nice thing. I'm watching a lot of these big air conditioner companies start to bring trainers into their own place. Right. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but man, it's definitely probably a good way to recruit people too, if you know what I mean. I like it being at the supply house because I feel like it's a little bit more neutral. So I kind of prefer it being there.
I forgot who's the guy that was the Daikin dealer that you deal with a lot. I'm sorry, man. I forget his name. Mike, right?
They do a lot of training,
and he comes to the Animal House, right?
Yep.
And the symposium. Well, he does a lot of things different than I'm used to in my area, man. Like he's involved with a lot of the groups. Like you said, he offers. He's active, man. I mean, dude, I called Chris up, Eric, like a couple of weeks ago. I left my supply house and I got prices, dude, legit for my neighbor. He's a good neighbor of mine, man. He's a nice guy. So I didn't mind doing a little extra time. I went into my supply house that was close. And I was like, hey, man, give me a price for a 2-stage. Give me a price for, just a basic efficiency unit. So the girl at the desk was having a hard time pricing out my 2-stage. And the head boss comes up and he's like, hey, man, what are you doing this nonsense, this bullshit with this high efficiency shit? Just get a basic unit. We got them in stock. And I call Chris up and I go, Chris, I was like, listen, I need to talk to you, man. He picks up the phone. I go, I got a vent, man. I'm tired of these freaking local yokels just telling me to push this 14-shear shit down my throat. It's and then I was thinking about your guy, man, in your neck of the woods. He's in the Animal House. He's in the training. He's offering more than the basic BS. and I had to reach out to Chris because I feel like I'm losing my mind. All I'm asking is 2-stage equipment, Eric. I'm not asking for like, some type of infinity carrier system. And that's what a lot of us deal with in the brick and mortar. Like, just here's the basic crap that we have in stock. Just push that.
Well, I mean, the brick and mortars to bring value years back, the value that the brick and mortar stores was that they had a lot of knowledge behind that counter. When you walked in there, they would have knowledge. You walked in and say, hey, I'm trying to do this. A significant number of the people behind that counter would have solid trade knowledge. The challenge today is that in I'm going to say back in the day, they would grab some people getting into their later years in the career and they bring them into a supply house. Well, the challenge today is a lot of those supply houses are heavily computerized.
Yeah.
And they are very fast paced.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. Now I'm going to say this because I've worked in multiple different parts industries.
Yeah.
I've sold motorcycle parts for a motorcycle dealership. I've sold auto parts at auto parts stores. And I've also worked in an HVAC distributor as technical support, but you see a lot of what goes on behind the scenes with the parts counters. They're very fast paced, and most HVAC technicians are not going to be able to jump from a truck being an HVAC technician and switch to being a parts counter person now in today's world, because that parts counter, they have to know so much about just the operations of that business that knowing about HVAC at that point.
I agree with you, man.
Really
I mean,
hard.
The girl at the desk was only doing that job for about a year. And the previous boss of 15 to 20 years just left about a year ago. So all I'm saying is, if I go into my brick and mortar, I just wish they would be able to accommodate my quote for a 2-stage. I'm not asking for no communicating equipment.
Well, I mean,
I'm just a little bit of, meet me halfway, like.
Well, you want them to quote what you want, not what they want to sell you. And that's a challenge. I'm going to say at that branch, right?
That's a good point, man. That's a good point.
It's no different than you walking into a customer and the customer saying, I want this right here. And you're saying, no, you don't want that. You want this one.
Yeah.
Because we have it in stock, or I can get it tomorrow. I can drive down.
I mean, dude, I had to phone a friend. I was so frustrated, bro. I had to call Chris. I'm like, this is why I go to the symposium every year. Like-minded people.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want, I don't want the basic, don't give me no Mr. Cool equipment. It was really frustrating for me.
I mean, honestly, the funny thing is about a lot of you talking about the brand Mr. Cool, a lot of these other brands, they're made by like one or two major companies, and they just have different brand names on the outside of them. That's all they are. They're going to have the same logic in it. They're made by probably one major company. And
Ty, I'm on the east coast of Florida, Central Coast.
I'll tell you one thing that I like.
Look at this bunk.
Speaking of Mike used to, their business kind of did this. They would hire like Uber drivers and stuff to run parts to us. And, you take a tech off a job and you run him halfway across town and back to that job. That's eating up some money. And to throw a part in the passenger seat of an Uber car and bill it to us, and let's say it costs, $20. That's cheap to keep that on the job.
Compared to running that tech across town. Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
That's a slick move. And I think that's I look for there to be more played into that game, into that angle somewhere. Like I wonder if supply houses are going to look into that deeper and maybe bring that service more in-house and not so much Uber service.
Man, I mean, dude, if we had some guys in a group that were brick and mortar, like this would be in some interesting shit right now. Like,
I mean, you look at I'm just going to say the automotive industry, because again, they've been dealing with this for a long time. And you go to every auto parts store out there, and what do they have sitting outside their store?
New cars.
No, auto parts.
Oh.
You go down to AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Napa, Pep Boys, whatever auto parts store. What does every one of them have sitting outside their store?
Outside the front?
Always a guy trying to jump off somebody's car.
No, they all have delivery trucks or delivery cars.
Yeah.
And they've got drivers for them. And when their shops need something, they jump in that vehicle and they run it to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. My buddy worked for Tire Kingdom, man, and he had a lot of people doing gopher jobs, man. Back and forth. Yeah.
Distributing materials away from home base is a big one. And I think brick and mortar is going to have to probably step up their game heavily in that to compete. Just like Dustin Cole said, man, he got a friend does go for this, go for that. It's just a gopher, running around. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you look at other businesses, and there's what's called in the trucking industry, and these are big down by you, Chris. There's a lot of them down there because of the oil fields. They're called hotshot drivers.
Oh yeah, but we're talking big money, man. We're talking those guys get paid thousands of dollars to hotshot.
We're talking about
how
like
far do they
drones.
How far do they drive to do hotshot work?
It depends. I would say I don't know many of them, but the ones I do know, they drive very far.
Yeah,
they're crossing state lines. But we're
talking about driving, 15 to 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things about the automotive industry that the HVAC industry has not done well. Now, the HVAC industry, brick and mortar stores could look to separate equipment storage from parts. Okay? Because if you need a new car, you go to the car dealership.
Mm-hmm.
But if you need a part, you might go down to Napa or O'Reilly's, any one of the auto parts places, unless you're trying to go to that car dealership and get an OEM part. But even the car dealerships have delivery drivers. They run schedules to those. So if the brick and mortar HVAC industry, one thing that they could do is they could separate into smaller parts stores in big cities and distribute them around to be able to get faster parts delivery to places, or more places where they could pick up parts. I'll tell you, Eric, that's a really solid point. Like a really, really solid point. I never thought about that before, but we've all been in supply houses forever. And then this guy's buying equipment. There's always plenty of guys who are, maybe they get a job the night before approved and their next day is not super stacked. So what do? They go straight to the supply house and load up that job. And the supply house is not going to turn that down. They're going to load it up. But that's definitely destructive to the supply house and how they orchestrate for the day. I mean, they try to prepare for it, but those, 2 or 3 guys who are coming in to do that every morning sporadically, it just happens. Very interesting idea is separating those two worlds, right? This is where you come to get your equipment. That's where you go to get your parts. That would be very, very interesting.
Yeah, separate it like service and change out department.
Yeah, or it could be in the same building, but like you said, you could have 2 different divisions.
Well, the thing is, if you're doing just parts, right, you can have smaller parts depots spread around because parts take up a lot less physical space than equipment does. Now, if you need an engine for a car, you're going to go you're going to go to a place that has engines, which, that would be the compressor in our world. Mm-hmm. And that may be a different place entirely. They're not going to stock engines on the shelf at an auto parts store.
Yeah. I'm with Ty, man. I'm surprised Home Depot hasn't started selling capacitors
They are.
next to
They already
the
do.
plumbing aisle.
Yeah,
Seriously?
They do in some areas. Yeah.
Really?
Oh,
damn.
Look around on some of the Facebook groups. They're selling equipment out of there. They've got some of the off-brand mini splits sitting on the shelf.
Got a little Medea up in there?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Every
Here's
time I
another
think
thought. How do you guys feel about the supply houses producing training rooms, right? If you're going to sell that brand, it almost feels like at this point you need to set up a laboratory.
Oh, I'm 100% for that, because one of the challenges.
Dude, I would love that. There's nothing like that over here, man.
Okay. Now, one of the challenges that I have with that is it's expensive. Okay. It is super expensive to do that. So what, in my opinion, what supply houses, brick and mortar should be doing, and even I see internet companies going this route too, is they have a central training center where the techs have to travel in and they spend maybe a day or 2 days there learning stuff. They're not running in for an hour or something like that. They're going to go in, they're going to do learning stuff. If all you're going to do is have a 1 hour class, do that online. Don't try to have techs drive into a supply house for a 1 hour or 2 hour training class.
Yeah.
Have that stuff online. That's way more efficient.
Ty says it's difficult to break into the supply house training gig. That's interesting. Should get
that is very true.
Yeah.
That is very true, because once they get a person in there, a tech support and a trainer in a supply house typically stays there until they retire.
Wow.
Now, that has been changing some in recent years, but for the most part, there's not a lot of those jobs out there.
That's why Ralph Wolf, he's been waiting for that Mitsubishi gig.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and sometimes those guys will stay with the supply house and sometimes they will move on. You know, they may move into a factory role or something like that. You know, I was lucky enough that one of the local supply houses actually came to me and said, "Hey, we have a shortage. You know, we need somebody to do the work, and you know, would you like to do this?" In that, so that was I kind of fell into that role when I took on that role, and I found that I honestly I didn't like it. It was not for me. It was like I didn't have a training center. I didn't have that, and that was something I really wanted. And different supply houses do it very
It'd be nice. Yeah.
It wasn't what I wanted to do, and maybe a different distributor would have been different for me.
Yeah. But, I hear you, man. Yeah. Yeah. Jason Objut says he trains for free at supply houses because he loves to train so much.
Yeah. He loves it.
He goes around the world. He's like,
and that's a big
pro bono training, man.
That's a big question that a lot of supply houses have too, is do you charge for training? Right. Because that's
right.
And I think training at supply houses has to be high quality, right? If you're going to do crappy training, there's no point in the techs coming in there and wasting their time to come in to do that training if it's just nothing training.
I would say most of my career until the last probably, I don't know, 7 years, but all the years before that, typically all the trainings I went to at supply houses were terrible. You know, It was the sales pitch.
Yeah, that's what a lot of them turned into, because the supply houses have to sell something to make money.
Right, right. And listen, I'm talking from a technical guy, just a service guy. But if I was a supplier, wouldn't I want to make sure that my equipment was being installed correctly, less warranties? Am I crazy?
Yes and no. What they look at a lot of times is, right, is it more expensive to do the warranties?
Right.
Or is it more expensive to put on that training?
That's Johnny Supertech money right there. That's too expensive to bring somebody in.
It's a business decision.
Yeah.
It's no different than an HVAC company making a business decision to not do training for their employees.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, this is the same thing. You're right. I agree.
This is why a lot of manufacturers, in my opinion, don't do. They look at, you know, and when the manufacturers look at it, they build in to sell a piece of equipment, They're like, okay, X number of this dollars is allocated to warranty.
Yeah, I was going to tell you, I've heard it out of a few mouths of distributors who have told me, that warranty is kind of already built into the business model.
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay.
And there's people over there that handle that.
Mm-hmm.
They get paid for that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just is what it is.
Yep.
And,
I'm sorry.
and it's been there, and it's been allocated for years, and it's always been taken care of, right? And so they don't see it as they don't see the education offsetting that. I guess
Yeah.
is what I'm trying to
They
say.
don't see it as a problem. They see it as a kind of like an expense.
Well, it's an expense that they can easily calculate.
Right.
Okay. That's something they can easily calculate and figure out how to manage.
Right. And Chris, did you hear that through the grapevine?
I can't say where I heard it from, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just my ties run deep, man.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree, Jason. A lot of contractors do hate Zoom training, but they also hate coming into a supply house for a nothing training just to sit there for an hour. The only thing they come in for is the pizza. And,
man.
At least they're getting pizza out of it. But
You know what?
Definitely.
Maybe we should start reaching out to a bunch of supply house, getting them in the grapevine, because maybe they should change the way they think about this shit.
Maybe
I'm just saying.
Maybe the Zoom training or the online training needs to be improved so the techs get something out of it.
I think you both have a good argument. I think Jason's got a good argument. Eric, I think you have a good argument. But one thing I will say is when you're in person, there's this whole being able to watch the crowd and judge the crowd that you can't really do well online. You can see if people are falling asleep, not falling asleep. Are they active? Are their eyes open? Is their head up? Are they enjoying the class or are they hating the class?
Right.
Yeah, online, you just can't pull that.
And this is from doing online trainings. This is one thing I love is having two-way cameras on. I like to have, if I'm doing an online training, I don't like to get a large, I don't want 100 people. I want to limit like 30, 40, maybe 50 people, but I need to have them all on the screen in front of me. And I love it when they turn their cameras on because for that exact reason. And that I think can work for online training.
Yeah.
But it has to be it has to be intentionally done, and it has to be well thought out ahead of time. You can't have 1,000 people and some person sitting down here in the corner of the screen, right, in a little bubble sitting at their desk talking into a microphone. No, everybody's going to be bored as crap and go to sleep. And this is why on my online trainings, I stand up in front of a green screen. I put the slides behind me, and I'll walk around just like I do in an actual room. And I've gotten good response out of that. And not everybody likes it, but not everybody likes sitting in a classroom either.
Eric, I'm just going to give you props, man, because like right when I got into the training side, I came to see you, and Eric told me illustrate. And that was probably one of the best tips I've got. So if anybody's in the chat and they want a tidbit to take away from this conversation, one of the best ones I got was from Eric. And Eric said, hey, don't TLDR anybody, right? Take the words out, put pictures, illustrate, like try to make it more, like a children's book of some sort.
Yeah. Illustrate and animate and make the words come from your mouth.
Yep.
I'm a technician, man, and I love seeing pictures, man. I'm a hands-on guy, and that's how I learn.
Yeah, I have a hard time.
I learn in the field. I do not learn in a textbook. I don't learn in a classroom setting for some reason.
Let me back up there, Mike, and say something, because this is really hard. How do you learn the theory behind things then? When we're talking about the theory of something that works, how do you learn that if you don't learn it? Right? You've got to be able to read the theory somewhere.
I hear you. Well, maybe I hear you. The theory.
I'm kind of confused by that statement, Eric. You'd have to.
I'm going somewhere with this. We're not there yet. Just
Okay,
just
okay.
you
Let me
follow
know
with me here.
Let
All
me
right.
know let me know if this is what you're thinking. The theory of, refrigeration and where it clicked. Was it in the field for me, or was it in the classroom? It did click in the classroom, but it took a lot of night classes.
But the thing is, would you have learned that same theory by just walking up and start sticking your hands on stuff in the field? Would you have the same understanding of that if you didn't have that theory to back it up?
I wish I can agree with you, because I don't know. I honestly,
know.
I don't want to say yes or no. But
I know
if
exactly.
I
what you're
was in
saying.
the field and I felt heat rejection from a condenser, I could tell you it would happen a lot quicker.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So one of the challenges that we have in the industry with teaching is we have theory and we have hands-on. Now, if I'm going to walk up and I'm going to teach somebody hands-on how to do something, but I'm not going to teach them the why of their doing something. I can tell you to walk up and say, put a thermometer here. What's the temperature? Okay.
Yeah.
There's your hands-on.
Well,
But you got to know the theory about why you're taking that temperature, what the temperature should be,
Yeah.
what to do if it's not the right temperature that it should be. Okay.
I mean, dude, I was taking classes by Eugene Silberstein in the same area, man. But it was all book. It was all It was all text. And I don't learn that way. I learn very hands-on, man. If somebody threw me in the field, I would have picked it up quick. But
what I find,
I did not do that, so I cannot say that for a guarantee. You know what I'm saying? I'm not arguing at you. Like maybe in class was a good way to go. Fundamentally, I think that's a good way to go. I do.
We got to have both. You have to have both sides of it. Now, one of the things that I've found with myself is I need to get my hands on it for a little bit first,
and then go
and
back
realize. And then my brain says, you don't know what the hell you're doing. You got to go learn something.
Bro.
Then my brain is ready to learn.
Bro.
See, here's
show me a condenser in the field and let's go to the textbook, dude.
There you go.
You're a fucking genius. That's
for me, like
that's beautiful, bro.
I went to trade school, right? And then I come out of trade school and I go to the field.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but it wasn't until like later on, after I would say a few years in the field, did theory actually come back to play a role. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You're a late bloomer.
I went down route A, and then I went down route B, and then somewhere those two finally, ran into.
It's okay. You're a boss now, so it doesn't matter.
It's just it took years though, which is sad because I had a.
But that's I'm agreeing with you, man, dude. It's when that clicks, when that.
Oh yeah.
When that just freaking hits you like an avalanche, like I understand the theory of refrigeration. It's just heat rejection, and it gets you. You're like, I'm excited, bro.
Yeah.
Like I know how it works, and I want to tell everybody.
I remember. I could almost remember the day low voltage just clicked.
Oh, bro, low voltage, man.
That's like the freaking feeling.
That was like low voltage was like trying to understand how women work, man. That was a tough one.
I can remember I was literally on a job, and my dad had been preaching to me like night after night about.
And mind you, I'm still working on that.
Yeah, and it just.
And I don't mean low voltage.
Yeah, he just kept preaching me, and I just couldn't get it, man. I just couldn't nail it down. The fundamentals of voltage past the transformer and how it reacted. And I remember just being on a job, having to troubleshoot. I want to say it was like a package unit. And I just remember getting my way through it real fast thinking, bing, light bulb, right? and after that, I was on fire. And I remember going in the next day at work feeling so confident because it had finally clicked. And I remember we used to work off like pieces of paper, and all of our jobs would be there. And so we had the opportunity to kind of look at the sheet and say, what can I tackle? And I was like, well, I'll take this one because I don't know if I could handle that one. It was intimidating if you're like, oh, I don't want to go work on that unit. I know that's a beast, But once that clicked, I remember looking at the job sheet with way more confidence and looking at jobs going, hey, I'm going to go to this client. I'm going to do that job. I know that unit. I know it's a beast. I want to try my hand at it. And I remember asking for it because my confidence level just soared at that point.
And I really appreciate you bringing that up, Eric, because I think it's important. No matter what school you're teaching in, they need to show the students what type of appliance that they're focusing on and saying, hey, this is what we're talking about. Because not everybody has that mindset, going in because they're young kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're coming out of high school. Yeah. I mean, they didn't even know what a thermostat is, like show them the appliance, go to the textbook, and then go back, and go back and forth, man. I think that's, I think you killed it, man.
If you're talking about like the refrigerant cycle, right?
Yeah.
Start up a system and have them start touching, mark certain areas on that system that are safe for them to touch.
Yeah.
Right. And teach them how to touch and start feeling. Then they start getting a mental picture of, okay, this is doing this. This is doing this. This is doing this. All right. Now we're going to go back and learn why it's doing that.
Yeah.
Because that, for me, that was the way my brain worked. My brain said, I'll be like, yeah, Ty, not the fan. Don't stick your finger in the fan, and that's why, and teach them, really early on, take your,
lanyards off.
Well, your lanyards, but your, drawstrings out of your hoodies.
Oh yeah.
You look at every one of my hoodies that I used to wear when I worked in the field. None of them had drawstrings in them. Because the first time I leaned over a condenser with one of those hoodies in there, and I was like, I'm watching that string headed down. I'm like, oh, this is not going to be well. And that was it. They were out. Done.
I never wore a hoodie, man. I was, my dad was really, really, really picky. Like, he kind of, I don't know, like cracked the whip on me, man. Like every day you get up for work, it is shirt tucked in. Like, the whole nine, like you are looking super professional when you walk out.
It was like you were like working for corporate.
Oh, no, mine was the same way going into the business.
Yeah.
Eric, where did you start off, bro? First
I started off in Illinois, actually working for my ex-father-in-law.
Oh, okay, cool.
And he was, you show up every day, you are clean shaven. Your shirts are tucked in, your uniforms are neat. You're clean.
Did he always carry a little comb too, Eric? Like my dad was famous for this. Look.
Yeah.
We could be doing the most brutal job. It's super hot outside. We're soaking wet from sweat. We're about to go eat lunch. My dad's like, I'll be right back. He goes to the bathroom, look, shirt tucked in. He gets his flip comb, and this is happening. He's like, all right, let's go to lunch. And I'm like, this guy ain't changed clothes, but he looks like he's ready to go to the next call, pristine and ready. And it's kind of funny because, I mean, he's at this point, he's in his 50s. We're in our 20s, and we look like, we've been beat to death. This man looks sharp. He's like, what is he doing that we don't know that we should be doing?
Yeah. But you got to realize, too, that I live in an environment where it gets cold. And, we wear things called hoods because we need them.
Mm-hmm. Back home, I was wearing like a snowsuit, bro. It was bad.
The biggest argument we had was my team we were pressing the old man for shorts. We were like, hey, let's do shorts.
Yeah.
My dad literally said, absolutely not. And this is the face I made. Look, like it was this. Absolutely not. It was like, okay, nope, that's never going to happen. Let's don't even ask again.
Yeah, I mean, like me, I had
my buddy would change his long pants from Cintas. He would change in the parking lot.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He was like, dude, bro, I can't work in this heat, bro. It's Florida, man. He would change after we get out of meeting. We get out of the meeting and we go through all training like once a week. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing changing into shorts? He's like, bro, I can't work in this shit, man. He's like, I got to put shorts on, man. He would buy his own Cintas shorts, bro. His name was Bobby. Dude was a trip, man. He's got his own business now. The guy's a freaking all-star.
Yeah, I mean, like Ty just said there, he's got a beard now. When I started in the business, I had a mustache and a beard, and it was neatly trimmed and everything else, and I kept it neat. But Mike's father-in-law did not like that. And it was a point of contention to start with.
Yeah.
And it took a couple of years, and he never heard one complaint from anybody, and the customers were very happy with me. And he kind of changed but he was very old school like that. He changed his opinion, and
that's the way it was in my corporate place, man. We had to be shaven.
Mm-hmm.
We had to be, shirt tucked in. It was corporate, man. It was corporate to the nine, man. I mean, they would show what we did for sales on a freaking whiteboard. It was cutthroat, It was like Wolf of Wall Street AC stuff, you know what I mean? They were like, oh, Mike sold a lot of equipment this week. Who's gonna take him off of the hill? It was like kill a man on top of the hill stuff, shit,
But yeah, got to make that stuff go.
So you got any good plans this week before we close this thing out? What you guys up to
this week, man? I got a blower door to do for new construction. I'm taking it easy this week.
Yeah, Eric, any big plans?
Yeah, I gotta get some stuff ready for the trainers conference coming up this month.
Yep.
Got a little class to do for the local HVAC association on Tuesday night. They do few online classes a year that I've been doing for them. And let's see what else. And I got to get my office finished up because I'm working on a few things on my office.
You gonna share some office pics, man? We want to see some action on the Grapevine, man.
Oh, you'll see some office pics when it's done.
Yeah.
I want to hang out on an HVAC overtime one day here.
What? I think I think you just called them out, man. I think they already told me, Mike. They're like, come on over.
Hang out. Gotta hang out with the boys, man. Those refrigeration guys. They're a trip.
For sure. I got a busy week, man. Me and David Richardson, he's flying into town. We're teaching a class on Tuesday in New Orleans.
Oh man. David's fun to teach with.
Yeah. And we're teaching a class on Thursday in Baton Rouge. So we've got a day where we don't have anything planned between those. So here's what I'm going to say. Check out the Grapevine, man. There may be some content me and him plan on laying down on Wednesday.
Nice.
So you're not going to throw a little info what's going on in the class?
Oh, it's a
it's all hush hush.
No,
it's
secret.
Top
let me tell you, bro. Like
he to show up.
Like we can't see your book because it's too green.
Chris doesn't even tell me half of the shit he throws out there. All right, so it's like
airflow testing and diagnostics, man. It's gonna be a good class. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun to teach. Can't wait.
Dude, NCI is really ramping it up, man.
It's gonna be a 1-day class. It's gonna be an all-day class. A lot of people I know are coming locally, so that's gonna be really cool. We're gonna have a lot of fun. And then the day layover, basically, we're thinking about riding to my parents I was going to take him over to the Hughes shop, let him hang out, spend the day with my old man. So we might get some content going with the old man in there.
Dude, nice. Tell Dad I said, what's up, man? Because
I will. Yeah,
we hung out at a symposium like 2 years ago, man. It was a really good time, man. It was really good to hear his side of the story too.
Every year I try to drag down one of the people from the family. I brought my cousin one year. I'm trying to get my brother to come next year. He's a trip. I'm talking a trip. And if I can get him down, I think I could get him to come down this next year.
I thought he was coming last time.
You should.
Yeah. He was gonna come, but he's they're Daikin dealers, and Daikin was putting on that big trip, so he took the trip instead. So I think he went to the
Where'd he go? Shrimping in the Gulf? Like, what's going on, bro?
Yeah, Caribbean, one of those trips they throw out,
I know which one I would have taken. Darn right.
Yeah, right.
I would have been singing karaoke in the middle of Orlando, bro. I don't know about that. Shrimping in the Gulf with Dyken. Come on.
Well, guys, until next week.
Hey, what are we going to do? We got to put a poll up on the group for time. So everybody think about that. We're going to put a poll up time, because last week it was what we had it at 8 Eastern. This week it's 9 Eastern. We're going to put a poll up for everybody to see what time you like it, because we're going to do this every Sunday night.
Yeah. So we're trying to decide if we're going to do 7 or 8 o'clock
Central
time.
Yeah. I don't know if we got a super chat, but we can't afford Johnny Supertech every week either.
Yeah, that is no kidding.
Too much money, man. Too much
cash money.
So we're going to pick a time and we're going to stick with it and just, HVAC overtime. We're going to be consistent, but we got to pick a time.
Consistent. That's right.
Eastern time.
Let some of our
hang in there,
audience.
Hang in there. Hang in there.
Don't tell me no swamp time, bro. Tell me some Eastern time. I don't understand those swamp time. Like, I got to ask Siri every time what Louisiana is at 12 o'clock. It's confusing the shit out of me.
All right,
Keep it simple. Go with New York time.
They're an hour behind us. Just remember that.
Nah, I'm horrible at math. I'm an AC guy. keep it simple. That's why they call it Eastern Standard. Standard time.
See you guys next Sunday.
Later, bro.
Later.
Have a good one.